One more listener mail. Listener mail number, is this 5 or 6?
Who cares?
I've lost track at this point. Okay, listener mail number last. This is this is Ada again. Ada sends us a lot of
Are
mail.
you sure it's not Ada?
It might be Ada. I'm sorry, Ada, if I've been mispronouncing your name. That's really terrible. But it's ADA. So I've heard both. I'm pretty sure.
I've heard both as well. So.
Okay, so it's not terrible, but it's either Ada or Ada. In this case, she actually just saw a story, a news story that she forwarded me the link. She just said, I thought you might be interested in this story. It's actually a really good news story that I've been wanting to do on the podcast, but I'm going to do it because she sent us the email. A listener saw the story, which is awesome, that a listener saw a story and said, this ought to be on the podcast. So this is the story. This is off of Fox News, and this was on several other major media. This was a big story. This is a little dated. This is a little over a month ago now. But the headline of the story is, Baby Miraculously Survives Abortion, Expected to Live Normal Life. Here's the story. A mother who decided to abort her son because he may have inherited a life-threatening kidney condition is overjoyed that he survived the procedure. Jodie Percival of Nottinghamshire, England, said she and her fiancé made the decision to abort baby Finley when she was 8 weeks pregnant. Percival's first son, Thane, died of multicystic dysplastic...
Multicystic dysplastic kidney.
Thank you, John. Which causes cysts to grow in the kidneys of an unborn baby. And her second child, Lewis, was born with serious kidney damage and currently has just one kidney, the Daily Mail reported. This is a quote from Percival. I was on the birth control pill when I became pregnant. She's 25. Deciding to terminate at 8 weeks was just utterly horrible, but I couldn't cope with the anguish of losing another baby. End quote. A short time after the abortion, Percival felt a fluttering in her stomach. She went to the doctor for a scan and discovered she was 19 weeks pregnant. Percival said, I couldn't believe it. This was the baby I thought I'd terminated. At first, I was angry that this was happening to us, that the procedure had failed. I wrote to the hospital. I couldn't believe that they had let me down like this. They wrote back and apologized and said it was very rare. End quote. Dr. Manny Alvarez, managing health editor for FoxNews.com, said Percival's situation is actually quite common. And her quote is, women that have early terminations in weeks 6, 7, and 8, many times the pregnancy is so small, the embryo is so small, that doctors miss removing the baby, Alvarez said. The danger is that the failed attempt can damage the baby. That is why these patients who get early terminations need follow-ups. End quote. Another scan a week later confirmed the baby also had kidney problems, but doctors told the couple the baby was likely to survive, so they decided he deserved another chance at life. In November, Finley was born 3 weeks premature. He had minor kidney damage, but is expected to lead a normal life. And this is the mom and the baby. Aww. Isn't that cute? He's a very surprised looking kid. It made me surprised to be alive. That's very corny, but anyway.
He looks better than I did when I was born.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Were you an ugly baby? Carrie?
I was born. I remember I was technically dead.
Yeah,
I was born early.
You were born dead.
You were born
I
dead.
looked pretty gosh darn ugly.
Well, that's not. I mean, he's a.
Yeah, this is not right at birth. I mean, this is easily a couple of weeks old. Yeah. So, but
all right,
anyway.
then fine. I was prettier. What do you want me to say?
I don't know, Carrie.
Okay.
This isn't a cute baby contest. This is just. Look at this kid who's gonna. I just think it's sad. I mean, we look at this is something that we've been looking at lately. Is somewhere around 80 to 90% of unborn babies that have some kind of a physical, quote unquote, defect are aborted, which means we're not going to have Special Olympics for that much longer. And it's just, it is like eugenics. We are literally killing off a people group. It's all the people that have that defect, that because it's going to be harder to parent them. And I just think it's sad. And think about all the, when he grows up, when he's 20 years old and he finds out, the story of the beginning of his life, how's that going to make him feel? That, my mom wanted to abort me, and obviously he's going to be glad that he's alive, which is typically what you see in situations like this. I mean, you have abortion survivors today that are pro-life speakers. They're like, I was supposed to be aborted. Here I am. I'm a person. I'm glad I'm alive. Even people with disabilities are glad to be alive. Yeah. Typically, when they're interviewed later, it's not like this thing of, oh, they're going to lead this terrible life. It's going to be worse than death for them. It's better to just mercy kill them now. That's just not the this situation.
And it's interesting to compare her life. I think you've talked about Gianna Jessen on the phone before, or on the show before. But it is interesting to think that, on the one hand, she had physical problems, and she ended up having a very bad relationship with her mother. So it'll be really interesting to see in the long run.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you can't say if this guy would ever become a pro-life speaker or anything, but it's just interesting, and I guess kind of encouraging that the mother at least was, even though she said she was initially angry, she was happy.
Yeah, so she changed her mind.
It is one sad thing, though. Obviously, this is a really cute picture, and we're really happy that the baby survived and that mom and baby are doing well. But it is sad that the mother's first response was she was angry that they'd been let down.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is tragic just to think that in our society today, you're angry because you were not able to kill a child that had deformities.
Well, though I don't think that's where she was coming from. I don't know, but it sounds like there's a lot of compounded emotion. So she probably, who knows? It was just probably like shock.
Yeah.
So mainly, probably maybe her bigger thing was, hey, I paid you to do something. I wonder if she got her money back.
Yeah.
I highly doubt that. Yeah. I mean, but then she also said, she was afraid of losing the baby. It could be, if she had known that he was going to survive the pregnancy, maybe she would never have had the abortion. She was afraid of having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And now that, everything worked out well, she's happy. So it might not be as much, we're going to abort him because it's going to have these, this kidney problems. She may have aborted because she felt like a miscarriage would be harder on her. It's hard to tell based on the very slim quotes that we have, but it's a very interesting story. It's definitely got people talking, and it's worth. It's one of those stories that you can use if you want to. If you're talking with someone, or if the conversation comes up. Hey, did you hear about that baby that survived an abortion? You don't hear about that every day.
Well, the other thing is, obviously, they did say that he was born with slight kidney damage, but considering how often, I think, like you said, a lot of babies are, doctors will tell parents, you know what, your baby is going to have severe kidney defects, or they're going to have severe developmental disabilities, Down syndrome, autism, whatever it is. How many of those families go out and end up having abortions when it turns out that, in this case, this was a baby that was unsuccessfully aborted and then was without prenatal care for all that time, and he still turned out basically fine.
Well, doctors told my parents that if I lived, I would be a human vegetable. So I was definitely a candidate for abortion. But
and here you are, and you don't seem to have too many.
Well,
issues.
no, the fact that when I was 2 and was in ballet was a huge miracle because I was not supposed to be able to have any kind of motor skills, and so. Yeah, I'm a little deranged and weird, but that may have been that way anyways. Obviously, that was part
clumsy,
of God's
not deranged,
purpose.
But
Not deranged.
I'd agree with weird.
Yeah, weird is
That's
probably
fair.
something. Yeah. Anyways.
I don't know what deranged. I don't know about deranged. But
That's
okay.
probably a little extreme.
That's our show. Thank you for listening. I'm not sure what the next episode is. The next episode might be us talking about Janet Rivera with Michael Dankoff. We've just got to get
mystery episode.
We've got to get. Yeah, it's a mystery
It's
episode.
like those lollipops.
Stay tuned.
What will be under the wrapper?
How many licks does it take to get to the middle? Or
No. Those
What's the
little. Yeah, Dum-Dums, they have some that are the mystery flavor. You don't know what kind it is.
Never heard of that. Ever.
Have you ever seen the mystery Airheads?
No.
They're like the white package.
No.
I have. I've seen those
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Wow.
Surprise.
Okay. Well, with that, thank you, John, for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Listeners, I'm just curious. Because you've actually had a lot of really good things to say. I'm going to say, listeners that think that John ought to stay on the podcast, send an email to us. I don't know that you could do that or not, but I just think it'd be really interesting. If we get flooded with emails
if people actually think that I did
they're like
a
boot
passable
Josh
job,
and just have John take
no,
Josh's place.
I will not do that. But if people think I did a passable job, maybe I can come be a guest
You were good.
occasionally.
You were good. You did a really good job. So thank you, John, for being here. Thank you, Michael. Michael will be back next time, of course. I don't even know if Liz is going to be back by the time we're done. I don't know. Who knows? It's going to be a mystery episode. Just tune in because it's going to be awesome as always.
You've been listening to Life Report, pro-life answers for a pro-choice world. Life Report is produced by Right to Life of Central California. Visit their websites at www.rtlcc.org and calife.net.